I'm Dan Galusha and welcome to another edition of Shootin' Plink. Today we're going to have a review on a bench rest, but also a test. One that I've been wanting to do as far as sighting in at one range in between and then shooting at 3 different ones on this same sighted. Now we used the bench rest and we're going to talk about that first. This happens to be a Gamo Swarm, and it's the one that I did the review on before that has the 10-round magazine in it, and that's what we sighted in on this. Now this is a bench rest that is a Sportsman's Guide. It's their own brand. It's, I would say, good for your smaller calibers and also air guns, without a doubt. Nothing a very high caliber if you don't want it jumping a little bit more, but it will still work for them too, because let's face it, if you're doing something with a brake barrel like this or a lever action, the brake barrel, you have to take it off every time and break it down, put it back on, and lever action, no, you can't do it here because of this right here. So you got to take a lever action, turn it out, same way. Even a pump, I mean, you know, you got to take them off every time. So that sort of a thing, it's worked great. I mean, I got it for around 20 bucks, so I can't gripe. This is nice metal in it. It's got a good adjustment right here. Yeah, I'd give it a pretty good rating on this one. Maybe a 4, because I have had a little bit of an issue with this loosening up, as you can see. This one I got tightened down, but for some reason this front wants to loosen a bit, and putting it together, it wasn't all that bad, but there was a few issues in here as far as right in this area. In fact, the bolts, you can put them in, you can tighten them up, and they send little wrenches with it. Don't use those. Use a regular socket wrench, because they'll round out in a hurry with these, because these have got to be a lot tighter than you think. You just don't tighten them down lightly. Otherwise, this is going to wiggle back and forth. So, now what we're going to talk about is the actual shooting. Now what I did with this is, like I said, I sighted it in with this, and that's how I put it in here, so it locks it in good right back here. And this is the sight in. And I had to do a lot of monkeying around for some reason. I have no idea. But still all, once I started getting them in the center, and of course pellets, you know how they are. Any air guns aren't going to be precise every time, because all your pellets are going to be different. I was using the Gamo pellets with this Gamo gun. The reason being is because Gamo suggests using their own. Otherwise I'd have probably used RWS and maybe even some Crossman just to test it out, but I wanted to test out with only one, and since it's a Gamo gun, I'm going to use their Gamo ammo. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot at 3 targets. This was sighted in at 15 yards. Now we're going to shoot at 10, 15, and 20. Just to see the difference and see if that one sighting can cover all 3 of those. I know a lot of you are probably saying, no way, you got to sight it in for each one. Well, I kind of like to do one thing and then try to use it all over, and if nothing else, compensate myself. Now what I am going to use though is I'm not going to be shooting on the rest. That's going to be the difference, because if you're out in the field and you're shooting targets out there like this, you're either holding it up or maybe you've got something like a yoke. And that's exactly what I'm using. This is an old camera tripod, and I put a yoke on this thing, and I just take it and do it like this. Just put it up here, rest it good, hold it down, and fire. And I've got this loaded with 10 rounds. Like I said, we're going to take it over, and we're going to do a little shooting using this yoke at 10, 15, and 20 yards. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about it. Well, got to shoot at it. You probably got to see it better than I did until now. I picked up my target, and we're gonna take a look. This is 10 yards up here. All the shots were just a little bit low, but they were respectable. If you were plinking, fine, you're gonna hit that target. 15 yards where I actually sighted it in, right up here, got one fairly close to the center. And then at 20 yards, I'll take a look. That's really not bad. I took 4 shots. That's what I did. I used the magazine. I took 3, 3, and 4. And because there's six shots in a magazine, and I just wanted to use 1 just to go through it that way. And as I said, it's when you look at the results of the 3, they're fairly much close. I mean, the 20-yard mark hit 2 right on either side of the dead center bullseye, and these of course are all within the little black bullseye that you're after. And the 10-yard was actually, I guess you'd say, I don't know, like I said, they're still comparable. You got 2 shots there in the black just on the outer edge. Actually did pretty good on that 20, but it shows you that by sighting it in at the 15, you can do that bad at the other 2. And if you were plinking, you know, that's just, this is a 3-inch target here, and this is a 4-inch on these 2. You're going to hit that target, especially if you're plinking at something that's 8 inches like some of them do. I usually try to shoot at something a little smaller, like those little cardboard rolls that I showed you. They're about that big around, about that tall, about that wide. So, you know, those are about the size of those targets. And they're a lot of fun to shoot at. Anything like that, that's going to work fine. So, you know, like I said, try to pick a medium like that if you want. If you just want to go in one, and especially with air guns, 3 different levels, that's about all you're going to shoot anyway with it. And if you go with 15, then you can step up to the 10 and no problem. So until next time, shoot safe and have a great day of plinking.